Hey mamas, you are listening to the Motherhood is Ghetto podcast. We all know motherhood can be a beautiful thing, but girl, it can also be ghetto. Join me as we discuss some of the best and worst parts of being a mom raising kids, all while trying to figure out this thing called life. This ghetto is a safe space, mamas. So welcome to the hood. Hey mamas, welcome back to another episode of Motherhood is Ghetto. My name is Joy, and how y'all doing out there? If y'all doing all right, you already know what to say. Say amen. I pray you're having a great day, a great week so far. And today I want to talk about mom burnout. I just need to vent a little bit. I need to vent a little bit because I have been feeling so burnt out. I've been really feeling the mom burnout. And this past week, well, actually, like the last 2 weeks, to be honest, man, I feel like it's been like the last 2 months. Just let me just not lie to y'all. I feel like the last 2 months has been very hectic as far as like life with the kids. It seems like, well, especially I know for my daughter, since she's playing volleyball, she has a very busy volleyball schedule. She has practice every day that she doesn't have a game. And when she does have a game, she has to stay to watch the junior varsity and the varsity game. So she is staying at school till 7:30, sometimes almost 8 o'clock at night. And if it's an away game, then she's coming home like after, well, she's coming back to the school after 8 p.m., close to 9 o'clock on some nights. And on top of that, we're having to get up extra early to get her to her bus stop to go to school. And that's really been taking a toll on me, y'all. It's really, really been taking a toll on me. It doesn't feel like I can ever get enough sleep. And I feel exhausted all the time. I feel exhausted and I just feel drained, even on my off days, because my off days are during the week. So I work the weekends, like I work over the weekends, and being able to like just find time to rest during the week, it's it's almost not possible because even on my off days, I'm still having to get up with the kids, get them to school, do all the things. And as much as like once I'm done with that, I want to come back home and go to sleep. I honestly can't because I've been up since 4:30 in the morning. So now I'm up. I'm not tired anymore. And by the time that I get tired again, then it's bedtime. Like I've picked up my daughter from volleyball practice or a game, and it's late. And at that point, I'm tired. But throughout the day, I'm up and I can't get any rest during the day, no matter how hard I try. And even when I do try, my phone is dinging nonstop. Someone's texting me, someone's calling me, and I can never get any rest. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, like, Joy, why don't you just silence your notifications? And I would love to silence my notifications. But at the same time, I have 3 children in school. I have one that is special needs. And I have my kids communicate with me throughout the day, especially Solomon. So if he's having a bad day or something happens at school or he needs me, then I need to be there to answer the call. So, and I know what else you're thinking too. You're like, well, Joy, why don't you silence all the non-important notifications and just um make come through what is important? I would love to do that too. But I also have two elderly parents, and if there's an emergency with them, maybe it's a number that I don't have stored in my phone that's trying to reach me and contact me. Maybe it's a hospital. Maybe it's police. I honestly have these thoughts because this is stuff that has happened to me before, and I got a little bit of PTSD. So, and also too, I have a brother that is recovering from a stroke, and I'm his emergency contact. So I need to be able to be reached in the event that something goes wrong with him. And some they may be calling from a number that I don't know about yet or I don't have saved. And all those things come up. Like I got a daughter in high school, like I just it's not like at nighttime, like maybe I could do that, but honestly, since my brother had his stroke, I turned off my do not disturb because I did used to have a bedtime and a do not disturb time, so that way my phone wasn't going off and waking me up. But honestly, where I am in my life right now, I just can't have that. I got too many things going on between the kids and family members where D&D is not an option for me. So so I've been feeling really burnt out, and it's no one's fault. So if my family is listening to this, I don't want y'all to think that y'all stress me out in any way or y'all are burning me out because you're not. But it's just the daily stuff of motherhood, and then on top of that having to work. And like I said, this last couple months with my daughter running volleyball, it's just been very busy. Also too, since I'm off during the week, those are the only days that I can plan for appointments and stuff like that. So the last 2 weeks of October, we on my both my off days, I have had my days booked with appointments, either for myself or for my kids, and they're not even done. I still have to make an appointment for my son to get a sports physical so he could try out for the basketball team next month. And then also too, Solomon is still going to therapy during the weeks, every 2 weeks. So that takes up a part of my off day. And it's just been very much a lot. And I've been feeling very burnt out because I don't feel like I'm getting the adequate sleep, so I don't have the adequate energy. So I'm pretty much just running off of positive energy and vibes right now. Like that's the only thing that's keeping me going is the positivity from like my friends and my family. Like that's the only thing that's keeping me going right now because your girl is tired, your girl is depleted. So today we're going to be talking about mom burnout. We're going to be talking about what that looks like and some practical ways for us to kind of mitigate that mom burnout and to recognize it. First, recognize it and know what it is, and then take the steps to be able to kind of qualm that burnout or get out of that burnout feeling that motherhood can have on us. And I said it once, and I'm gonna say it again. Shout out to all the single moms. I'm 3 years in. Um, on October 4th was marked the 3-year anniversary of my husband's passing, and I've been in these single mom streets for the last 3 years, and I will tell you, it has not gotten any easier. I won't say that it's gotten harder, but it has not gotten any easier. So my hat is gonna always go off to the single moms that have been doing it since day one. Amen. Because this is not easy. And I know that like I have like people that I can call and I can lean on, but there's just I can't lean on them for everything. Like I definitely cannot call anybody and be like, "Hey, could you start dropping off Genesis at her bus stop at 5:30 in the morning so I can get some extra sleep?" There's no one that I can call to do that. So that type of stuff is on me. So let's get into this mom burnout situation. So, what is mom burnout? So, the Senior Google categorizes this as also known as maternal burnout. Um, Maternal burnout is a state of chronic exhaustion from the persistent demands of motherhood that exceed a mother's coping abilities. It shows up as emotional and physical exhaustion, a sense of being overwhelmed and ineffective, emotional disconnection from children, irritability, and physical symptoms like headaches or insomnia. This can include a lack of joy in parenting and feeling like a worse parent, even if tasks are being completed. Pause on that for a moment. Can we talk a little bit about irritability? I've been finding myself in the last few weeks being more irritable than I normally would be outside of when I'm PMSing. Because that week before my auntie Flo comes in town, I am 100% irritable. Everything gets on my nerves, especially my kids. Like they get on my last nerve. But I've been finding myself being more irritable even outside of that time frame. And a couple of times, like I had to check myself. I'm like, Joy, why are you so irritated? Like, your son is literally just playing with a plastic 7-Eleven bag. Like, why are you so irritated right now? And that was a good question because I didn't know. I didn't know I was so irritated with my son. But I think it's because I got a little mom burnout going on, man. um, Also too, the physical symptoms, headaches. I have been experiencing lots of like sporadic headaches. And I was always the type of person like when I grew up and like grew into adulthood, I never got headaches before. But now I'm starting to experience them more often. And they're not like super severe or anything. Like they're very mild and nothing that two Tylenol cannot handle. But I thought that it was strange that like I was getting headaches more frequently. And then also too, insomnia. There are some nights where I just cannot get my brain to turn off. And with that, I feel like I am tired. I know that I'm tired. I haven't been wanting to do anything else but get into my bed. But once I get into my bed, I cannot go to sleep. And I've been experiencing that too. And I'm just like, I think I need a break. But also too, I'm like I don't know if I need a break because and then I get that mom guilt and that mom guilt sets in and I'm like, well, do I really need a break or do I just need like to sleep more or I don't know. I don't know, but that's what mom burnout is. That's the definition of mom burnout. So if you resonated with any of those things, then you may be experiencing a little bit of mom burnout. So, the next thing I want to talk about is what is the difference in being tired and being depleted. So, before we get into the actual definitions, I'm going to give you guys my version of what I feel like tired versus depleted is. So, tired to me is like you're physically tired, like you feel sleepy and you want to get rest. Like that to me is what tired is. But depleted is when you have nothing left to give. You have no resource to give as to outsource. Amen. Like there's no reserves. There's nothing for you to give because there is nothing stored in you for you to give out. So that's how I see tired versus depleted. And sometimes I feel like a little bit of both. I feel like sometimes I'm just super tired and I need to rest, but sometimes I feel drained. Like I don't feel tired, but I feel drained. I feel depleted and I don't have any energy and I don't have the willpower to do anything except just lay in the bed and scroll. And and I've noticed that I've been doing that a lot lately, especially after I get home from work. And with my job, I'm a people leader, so I'm having to problem solve all day and talk with people all day and help figure out issues and resolve issues. Sometimes customer issues and then sometimes employee issues. And I honestly do come home mentally drained and I don't want to think about anything and or do anything except just doom scroll until I feel tired. And that's a big part of why I do normally record when there's daylight, like it's sunlight out, because when I get home from work, I'm just exhausted. I'm exhausted and I cannot even think about setting up a camera and talking. Um, so that to me, that's the definition between tired and depleted. But I think I'm pretty spot on. But just for the sake of it, we're gonna go over the definition of both and see what Senor Google has to say about what the definition of tired is versus the definition of depleted. So, feeling tired or fatigue is a profound sense of weariness and lack of energy, distinct from mere sleepiness that can interfere with daily activities and be caused by lifestyle factors like poor sleep or mental stress. So, that is the definition of tired. So, the definition of depleted is to have seriously reduced or exhausted a supply of something, making it no longer sufficient. It can refer to resources, money, or energy, indicating that something has been used up to a great extent. So again, I feel like I was spot on. I feel like you could run it back to see, but I feel like I was spot on with those definitions. Um, yeah, and like I said, sometimes I feel both. Sometimes sometimes I feel tired and depleted. And I feel really like that's where my irritability sets in. And then also too that mom guilt creeps in, when I come home and I just get straight in the bed and I don't have any like bonding time with my kids because I just really have nothing else to give. But I'm also tired. I'm weary. Like I'm drained. And I definitely have a special place in my heart for moms that are doing this by themselves, but that doesn't mean that that's where it stops because I know that there are married mothers or mothers who have partners who also experience mom burnout. So the goal is to get to a place where we can recognize when we're starting to feel like that burnout is coming on and then taking the necessary steps to give ourselves a break. And honestly, that's what I've been working on. I've been working on trying to recognize it and catch it before like it starts to snowball. But this time, unfortunately, I didn't catch it. I don't think I caught it in time because I'm there. But um I'm going to be taking a trip here in a couple days and I'll be gone for a couple days. So hopefully that will give me the reset that I need to be able to finish out this month because Genesis volleyball season will be over at the end of the month. We'll be past Halloween and all that stuff. And I'll be able to settle in starting in November and finish planning out the rest of our Christmas trip and just have a great ending to the year. So that's what I'm hopeful for. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, the mom burnout for me is already set in. Child is here. It's here. And I'm just doing what I can. I'm doing what I can to take care of myself. And speaking of which, so I know that I've talked about this before, but I want to go over it again and redefine the way that we look at self-care. Self-care is not just bubble baths, y'all, and it's not going out and spending money at the stores or at the malls or buying yourself new clothes or new bag. Whereas that can be like and those are things that you should do for yourself. I'm not telling you not to do that. Um, get yourself the clothes, buy yourself the bag, but don't mistake that as self-care. That's maintenance. Amen. So you taking a bubble bath, going to get your nails done, get your hair done, like that's maintenance. And we should be doing that. But when I talk about self-care, I'm talking about the things that bring your soul peace. Amen. It fills back up your soul. So an example of that is, say you're a person like you love to laugh. Like when you're laughing, then that brings you the most joy and it raises your spirits. So that's what you should be focusing on when you're focusing on your self-care. So doing things or engaging in activities that make you laugh. So whether that be watching a Netflix comedy special or going, to see your favorite comic perform or watching a funny movie that brings back funny memories and you're laughing, like that's what I mean when I say like self-care and prioritizing self-care. So again, it's going to look different for everyone, but just to give you an example, what that looks like for me is on a day where, maybe my kids are at school and I'm home here by myself. I really love to open up the blinds, open up the windows because I enjoy sunlight. I'm not one of those type of people that like it when it rains or when it's cloudy. I am definitely a sunshine baby. I was born at 12 p.m. noon on the dot. Oh. On a Monday. Um, I was born in the summertime, so I definitely enjoy the sun. I enjoy the warmth of the sun, and I love getting up in the mornings and opening all the blinds and just feeling that sunshine and the warmth of the sun rays. I really love that. So I make it a point to do that every morning when I'm home here, like I don't keep my blinds closed up or anything like that. Like I open up everything. I open the blinds in my room. I just love the sunshine. And that helps me to feel good in my soul. And that's one of the ways I take care of myself or I practice self-care. Um, I also like to listen like to chill hop music or lo-fi music, like lo-fi beats, nothing with words. I love to just have that playing throughout the house, like while my kids are at school. So while I'm doing chores or cleaning up, I just love, like, even though I'm doing the chore and I really don't want to be doing that, but it makes it easier and it makes it a little lighter when I'm adding that element into it with the music. So, those are just some examples of what I do, but it's just something that feeds your soul. Amen. Like I'm hoping that I'm conveying that in a way that you can understand. But self-care is doing things or participating in activities that feed your soul, that give back what you've been giving out into the world. So again, the bubble baths and the maintenance and stuff like that, that all that is great. Keep doing that, but I want us to really focus on the things that feed our soul and that have a more of a lasting impact than like a bubble bath would, something of that nature. So, but yeah, it's gonna be really important when you feel that mom burnout setting in to regulate yourself, like check yourself, and so that way you can get back to yourself. Amen. And lastly, the last thing I want to talk about is when you are experiencing that mom burnout or you feel it coming on, making sure that we're prioritizing setting boundaries. Um, I know I talked about it in my cutting the cord episode where I I stopped my son from co-sleeping with me, and it's not always easy to set boundaries, especially um if you're needing to set boundaries between you and your kids. It can be hard and it can be tough because you don't want to sever that bond or that closeness that you guys may have, but sometimes it's necessary. And in that episode, the cutting the cord episode, where I talk about getting to a point where I needed my own space. I needed to be alone again in my own room, and how like when I would come home from work and get ready to go to bed, like my son is hopping in the bed with me, and there's just being nights where I just want to sleep alone, but not wanting to hurt his feelings. So, um if you want to go ahead and pop over to that episode and listen to that episode, I kind of talk about that. And having to set boundaries also too with family members and your spouse. Like that can also be something that may need to happen in order for you to reset within yourself. You may be doing a favor for a friend and it's just a little too much for you right now. So you may have to tell that friend, hey, like we got to pause on this. Like I need some time to myself. Or if you get up at 4 a.m. to make your husband lunch for the day or breakfast, and you need a break from doing that just to get a little bit of extra sleep, like I'm sure if your partner or spouse loves you, then they'll understand and allow you that space and that grace. But sometimes it's needed. Sometimes we do have to set boundaries. Also, too, setting boundaries with work, the grind, the not taking a day off until the holidays, like that's out. Like we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're taking the time off when we need to take the time off because the job will be there whether you show up or not. Um, but what won't be and is not guaranteed to be there is your life. So you need to always be putting yourself first when it comes to you feeling exhausted or depleted or just feeling like you need a rest or a break. So with all that being said, mamas, I'm going to go ahead and land the plane here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with another mama who you also think would find it helpful. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at motherhood_ghetto. You can keep up with me and the kids there. You can also DM me there if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover about motherhood. I would be more than happy to do so. Or if you just want to connect with me, you can definitely DM me there. Also, too, follow the show. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, hit the follow button so that way you are notified every time a new episode is uploaded on the platforms. And then lastly, we are also on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, join the motherhood. We would love to have you. We're here every week. Amen. Um, but I definitely appreciate you for being here today, mamas, and listening. And don't forget, if you're feeling that mom burnout, take a moment. Amen. Take a moment to assess what you need to do to get back to yourself. Amen. Until next time, mamas. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Don't forget to follow the podcast and share with anyone who you think may enjoy it. And follow me on Instagram at motherhood_ghetto. Also, feel free to DM me if you have any experiences, opinions, or views on motherhood you'd like me to share on the podcast. Until next time, mamas.